Simple-hearted farmers, when they come into wealth, tend to incline toward religion and good reputation. Unlike the wealthy elite, they do not rush first toward luxury and indulgence. For several years, gold had been raining upon Sujan Mahato's fields. All the farmers in the village worked hard, but fortune favored Sujan. Even if seeds were scattered on barren land, something or the other would grow. For 3 consecutive years, sugarcane crops flourished. The price of jaggery was high, and when Sujan accumulated 2 to 2,500 rupees, his mind turned toward religion. He began to honor saints and holy men. A sacred fire was lit at his doorstep. Officials, revenue officers, head constables, police inspectors, even education department officers started staying at his courtyard. Sujan was overjoyed, for those very officials before whom he could hardly speak now addressed him respectfully as Mahato, Mahato. He developed a devotional inclination. A holy man, seeing favorable conditions, settled in the village. Soon there was an atmosphere of indulgence in cannabis and hashish, musical gatherings with drums and cymbals, and regular spiritual discourses. Though there was plenty of milk in Sujan's house, he had vowed not to drink even a drop himself. Sometimes officials tasted it, sometimes the holy men. He also built a brick well, as water did not reach the village fields. The well was ceremonially inaugurated with rituals, sacrifices, and feasts for Brahmins. The day it was used for irrigation for the first time, Sujan felt as if he had attained all the 4 goals of life. Around this time, pilgrims returning from Gaya stayed in the village and were hosted at Sujan's house. This awakened in him a long-held desire for pilgrimage. His wife, Bulaki, suggested postponing it to the next year. But Sujan replied that no one knows what the next year holds, and one should not delay religious deeds. Trusting in God, he took Bulaki along and completed the pilgrimage. Upon returning, he organized grand rituals and feasts, inviting the entire community. Betel nuts were sent to 11 villages as invitations, and everywhere people praised him, saying, "If God gives wealth, he should also give such a generous heart." Gradually, Sujan Mahato became known as Sujan Bhagat. The conduct of a devotee is different. Truth must be upheld, worship becomes essential, and one must be mindful of food and habits. His life changed from that of a laborer to one of reflection. Where once self-interest ruled, he now measured his actions on the scale of righteousness. He began to feel guilty even while taking interest on loans. He started caring for calves, detested false testimony and deceit, and worried most about ensuring fair wages for laborers and causing harm to no one. However, with this new awareness, his authority within the household began to decline. Decisions about what to sow, whom to deal with, and at what price to sell were now made by his sons and Bulaki. While his respect grew in the village, it diminished at home. His sons treated him with outward care, helping him onto a cot, not letting him fill his pipe, even insisting on preparing his clothes. But real authority lay elsewhere. One day, as Bulaki was cleaning lentils, a beggar called out at the door. The elder son, Bhola, came and said that a holy man was standing outside and should be given something, otherwise it would be sinful. Bulaki replied indifferently that Sujan himself could go and give alms. Bhola mentioned that a man named Mangu had brought eggplants, and while the account showed 7 mounds, the actual weighing was less. He had reduced 10 seers from the record. Hearing this, Sujan was disturbed. When he tried to give a small basket of barley to the beggar with his own hands, Bhola snatched it away and scolded him, saying that the grain was not free to be given away. It came from their hard labor. This insult in his own house was unbearable for Sujan. He sent the beggar away empty-handed and sat under a tree, thinking that he was no longer the master of the house, but like a dog at the doorstep. That night, he refused to eat. When Bulaki came to persuade him, he bitterly remarked that he was now an outsider. While his earning sons were the real masters, he himself was useless. Bulaki tried to reason that in a household, power belongs to the one who earns. But within Sujan, a fire of self-respect was ignited. That very night he got up and began cutting fodder for the oxen with an axe. At dawn, when Bulaki and Bhola woke up, they were astonished to see a large pile of chopped fodder. Bhola realized his father must have worked all night. When they reached the fields, Sujan had already ploughed half the land. Bhola soon grew tired, but Sujan continued tirelessly, tending to the oxen, stroking their backs, and then taking up the plough again. Villagers began to say that his devotion had faded and he had become attached to worldly matters again. Yet saints and mendicants were once again seen at his doorstep, and his fields yielded abundantly. His granaries overflowed. One day, the same beggar who had once been turned away returned. Sujan told him to take as much grain as he could carry. When the man hesitated, Sujan himself filled his bundle and placed it on his head, then accompanied him. Onlookers were astonished. They did not realize that Sujan was intoxicated with the strength gained from 8 months of relentless labor. That day, he had regained his lost authority. In human life, inner drive is of great importance. One who has passion remains young even in old age, and one without it is lifeless even in youth. Sujan Bhagat possessed that inner drive, and it gave him extraordinary strength. As he left, he looked proudly at Bhola and said that no bard or beggar should leave their door empty-handed. Bhola stood silently with his head bowed. The old father had triumphed over him.